All right. Good evening. It's 5 p.m. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Argyle ISD Board of Trustees. At this time, we will determine if a quorum is present.
Leon McDade, present.
Josh Western, present.
Richie Deffenbaugh, present.
Leanne Artho, present.
Matt Slayton, present.
Craig Oxford, present.
And I, Sam Slayton, present. We do have a quorum established. The time is still 5 p.m. and we will adjourn to executive session. All right, good evening. We are back from executive session. The time is 6:05 p.m. At this time, we have our awesome friends from Argyle West Elementary here to do our pledges of allegiance. Are we going to do intros first?
Yes, they're going
All
to
right.
introduce themselves.
Here we go.
Come on up.
What? Stand right here. Stand on there. You stand on that box. There you go. Now tell them your name.
Oh, shoot, I'm trying.
Say your name. Tell them your name.
Oh, yes, isn't that so loud?
Say your name.
My name is Kyler.
Thank you, Kyler.
Tell them what you told me.
My favorite thing is math.
Excellent job, Kyler. All right.
My favorite thing about, my name's Max, and the favorite thing about school is math.
Okay.
My name is Bernie, and one of my favorite things about school is learning. My name is Isla, and one of my things at school is math. My name is Adeline, and one of my favorite things at school is seeing my teachers every day.
My name is Emma, and one of my favorite things about school is how welcoming people are and how they make you feel at home.
My name is Elizabeth, and one of my favorite things is writing. My name's Alexa, and my favorite thing is math.
My name's Carter, and my favorite thing is reading and writing.
My name is Carson, and my favorite thing is also math. My name is Luke, and my thing is also math.
My name is Aaron, and my favorite thing is also math.
Thank you all. Thank you so much for being here. That was awesome. I'm going to keep saying that. All right, this time we'll have a brief moment of silence. All right, thank you. Now we have some recognitions, Dr. Carpenter.
We actually have a very special recognition tonight. So for those of you that are aware or aren't aware, we kicked off an inaugural class of Eagle Ambassadors this year. It's the first time Argyle ISD has done that, and we started out with 50. We had 36 community members that actually completed each coming through the months of the different workshops that we had, and we have 36 that are graduating with us tonight. Just to say a few words before we actually have them come up, they're receiving a certificate and a delicious chocolate chip cookie, I think, and we're going to want to take a picture. But at its heart, this program really aims to build a well-informed school community across all departments of the district. We want to cultivate open dialogue and collaboration. And that's what we did in all those sessions. We had different departments presenting. We had school board members come in January and talk about their roles as trustees. We did Finance 101. We talked about curriculum instruction. We talked about community engagement, all the different areas, staff and student services, safety and security, lots of things, legislative advocacy, because this group will be paramount in helping us moving forward with legislative advocacy. So I just want to thank them for their commitment to being an ambassador. It's a critical role because truly you're a conduit between us and the community. And really not only just the community, but at the state level as well. We're looking for positive ambassadors that will help support us locally, but also at the state level. So thank you so much for this inaugural class, and we're going to call you up one at a time, and we're going to take one big picture. So if you'll just make your way over to see Mr. Heron. Is that right, Mr. Heron? They coming to you? Okay. So I'm going to go through our list of our 36 graduates, and if you're here, please come on up and then stay up front, and we're going to get a picture. Candace Allison, Kara Armstrong, Amy Buckert, Rachel Burton, Joshua Butler, Jennifer Bradbury, Sunny Darden, Jen Delaporte, Christine Enslin, Nima Fariman, Shelley Farr, Jennifer Foki, Jane Gielan Sayers, Kimberly Gregory, Leslie Heldebrandt, Andrew Herring, Nicholas Hobby, Vaishali Jane, Rebecca Jenkins, Amy McCarty, Leanna McDougall, Katie McLemore, Vong Mipuvang, Edson Miranda, Mercy Malouche, Allison Peterson, Aaron Quinn, Allison Shower, Beck Schooley, Jessica Summer, Acela Spiegelberg, Katie Springle, Whitney Sterling, Swapna Swami, Christine Taylor, and Melody Van Drunen. Wonderful.
These two rows.
Hey, Richie.
Good shot.
You doing all right? Family good?
Thank y'all.
What's that?
Hey, Andrew. I want to know if he's going to stop.
Just so much your ass. It's good. It's a good idea. It's a great idea. It's a great idea. You know, I'm just understanding it better.
Right. The problem was this was probably the best one to give. It's a bold move, Cotton.
Yeah. I know most of our Eagle ambassadors are departing, but just want to thank them all for giving their time and learning about our district and investing in Argyle ISD. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I know it was a great program. I mean, I think you had more people interested in being than you could take on. So
We
it's-
did.
yeah.
We did. So we have a list already lined up for August.
The second class.
That's right.
Initiating that.
Yes.
And executing it.
Appreciate that. All right, now we will move into our public forum. And as this is becoming common, I will read my spiel real quick. So here we go. All right, we're moving into public forum portion of tonight's meeting. Please note that board policy requires speakers to sign up in person before the meeting is called to order. During this portion of the meeting, board members will listen to comments, but as the designated spokesperson, only the president may respond to the speaker if needed and refer concerns to the appropriate administrator. Speakers can comment on agenda items, but trustees will not be able to discuss the items until they are before the board during the meeting. Board policy, BED local, provides the presiding officer the ability to adjust the time allotted per speaker for effective meeting management. Pursuant to that policy, an individual's comments to the board at tonight's meeting shall not exceed 5 minutes. The presiding officer may reduce the allotted time for each individual to speak to no less than 1 minute for effective meeting management. Speakers are not allowed to receive time from other individuals. Tonight, each speaker will receive 5 minutes. Specific complaints about individual district personnel are to be processed through the district's grievance policies as set out in district policies DBA, FNG, and/or GF. Speakers are not permitted to refer to individual students or employees by name during the public comment period. Additionally, if you have a pending grievance that may come before the board in a level 3 hearing, please refrain from addressing the topic of your grievance except through the grievance process. Per board policy BED and this board's operating procedures, the board will not allow disruption of the board meetings by members of the public if, after one warning from the presiding officer, any person continues to disrupt the meeting by words or actions, the person will be removed from the meeting. All right, thank you. Again, we're still working on that recording, so it can just play overhead.
That's right.
That is a hint.
I think that was
That was a hint last
leading,
month.
Yeah.
So, or it's going to go to the board secretary to read. All right, that being said, we have 4 individuals signed up to speak tonight. First person on the list, Rich McDowell. And Mr. McDowell, whenever you begin, the time will start.
Okay, perfect. First and foremost, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. I'm Rich McDowell, and I'm currently running for place 4 in the upcoming election. I wanted to share some things I've learned along the way. Argyle is an amazing community. I've been constantly reminded of this since I put my name in the hat to be elected for the school board. While it's true we don't always agree on what path forward it is or should be, what I believe in my heart is what we want best for our kids and our teachers. Just imagine, as a town from all our different backgrounds, we joined forces and went to Austin and demanded that the leadership in the greatest state in the union properly fund our schools, which could happen. I would be remiss in not mentioning how amazed I've been of our seniors, which I believe we had 6, 7, or 8 of them, I couldn't really remember, serve on the bond committee with us. They are the future, and with their leadership and excitement, we are in great shape. They have compassion, they have understanding, and they have a voice. And it has been amazing to watch in the last 6 months while we were on the bond committee. I leave you with this tonight. I truly believe in this community. I believe in this ISD. I believe in this administration. With a pinpoint focus on who we are and what we will be in the future, I believe Argyle will remain a great home for our children. We all moved here for this community, this school district, and the opportunities it provides for our children. May we never forget that. Rich McDowell, place 4, shaping the future together.
Thank you. All right, Josh Pizzuto.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Josh Pizzuto, and first of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak, and as well as to meet all of you as I have over the past couple months. It's been great to be able to get to know every one of you individually. I'm running for place 4 for Argyle ISD, and through this time, through the past couple months and weeks, I've had some great opportunities to meet many of our neighbors, many of our teachers and staff, as well as local business owners. And I really wanted to take the opportunity to not only speak for myself, but introduce me to you as well as the community in a different forum. So, as a family, my wife and I decided to move our family here to Texas in 2011. We're looking for schools to come to, especially when you're out of state. That's a really hard decision to understand. At that time, we looked at Southlake, and it was a little outside of our price range to kind of move into those areas, but we landed on Keller because of the smaller school, community, and the great community that Keller had. Throughout the time that we lived there, as our kids got older, the community continued to change, as change does happen, and as we are growing. But Keller started to become a district that we did not want to be a part of and didn't align with the values that we stood for as a family. And so that's where it was a little bit of that, and my wife's little bit of a session with looking at Zillow every Sunday and finding homes that we ended up moving up here to Argyle. So together we moved and built first home here in Canyon Falls. And it took a little over a year for us to build the home, but we got just in time for the 2017 school year. Within that time, we were able to start our own little small business, so our own little slice of Argyle, and through that have had the great opportunity to sponsor the different football teams, the Majestics, a few of our favorites because of our kids, whether it's cheer or band. We are a proud Eagle partner with Argyle, and not only do we sponsor many different groups and organizations within Argyle, but also Northwest ISD. I was lucky to be part of the 2023 bond committee, and it was really great and eye-opening and learning experience to learn how through that process and what goes into those decisions, but also help and understand the hard decisions that you have to make as you work and grow the district. In addition to that, I am currently serve as a committee member on the Town of Northlake Planning and Zoning Committee. So I know very well how hard some of those decisions are, even when it's not a popular decision. I'm very passionate, and you probably see this over time. I'm a very passionate person, but not only about the different issues, but building a strong community, but being very intentional and measured with how that growth happens. In addition to my local and public service, I have nearly 15 years of strategy experience and organizational operations experience. I've worked with startups and building companies from scratch, all the way to very large companies and growing them throughout different parts of business. I've also had the unfortunate experience of leading different groups within some of these companies to go through downsizings, as it is part of any type of business at some different point. And I understand the challenges and the struggle that the district has to go through in making some of those decisions. All of this to say that I am uniquely qualified for Place 4 for Argyle ISD. This is not something that I've just decided that I want to do, as I don't think any of the candidates have. But I have this experience within strategy, with corporate organizations, with public service. And I really do have that heart in the right place to serve with you and on this board. Mm-hmm. The most important thing I've learned through all of these different experiences are a few things. You have to be authentic. You have to be genuine to who you are, but also to others as you're working through this process. You're not going to make everybody happy as much as you really want to. And I mean what I say, and I say what I mean, good or bad. I am a very naturally curious person. I was the kid growing up that took apart our TV just to see why and how it worked. But that has carried over into my professional and personal life, is I want to dissect and understand every part of what I'm working with. I'm very heavy on communication, and through all of that change, I understand that's one of the most important pieces, and I'm passionate. So where do I stand? I can't do that in 5 minutes. You know, if you Google Josh and Argyle ISD, it comes up in the top 5 things. But hopefully on Wednesday night you follow and watch the event that the district has, and you'll get to learn more. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Aaron Reed.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Erin Reed, and I simply just want to say thank you tonight to the board and admin for all the hard work, time, and effort that went into these bond presentations, all the online information, the multiple avenues of communication that have been opened in order for our community to ask questions and get timely answers. I'm aware that serving as a trustee is an unpaid, often thankless position, and I just want you to know that there are a lot of people in this community who appreciate your time, your service, your patience, and your willingness to engage with all of us. To my knowledge, the bond committee met 6 times for multiple hours, was moderated by our school principals, who know better than anyone what goes on in this district, had hundreds of additional parking lot questions, and all were answered. The decisions for our bond were not made in haste. They were vetted by a large committee of community members, and ultimately the presented bond was lowered to fit the needs of growth while also still remaining fiscally responsible to our community. I have a clear understanding of the additional cost required to run one large 9 through 12 high school versus a split campus, and I understand that cost difference would be to the tune of approximately $1.5 million. Argyle is unique in that there are already 2 fully functioning high schools, and we have been blessed to be able to run on the most efficient master scheduling, a 7-period day. When we outgrow our facilities, which you know we will, that schedule is no longer an option, and we would be forced to move to a block master schedule. Students would have to travel back and forth to campuses, and staffing would be more costly. Personally, I weigh the benefits of smaller high schools by different measures, but if I were to only look at them from a fiscal perspective, it's clear that 2 9 through 12 campuses are more fiscally responsible. All 3 of these bond propositions were thoroughly researched, and it's clear that they are necessary for the students and staff in our district in order for them to remain successful. Our tax rate may increase as a result of property values, as we all know, but not as a result of this ISD rate or our bond. Our new elementary schools opened at capacity, and our growth shows we'll even be needing a 6th one by 2030 at least. It will already be August of 28 before middle school number 2 could open, so if we push back this bond, it'll be even years later that we could accommodate our students, not to mention the 9% annual inflation rate that would make our needs even more costly. These facilities in the bond will not only be used by our high school students, but also by our youth programs, which is desperately needed, as I know firsthand that our youth programs will be forced to limit registration simply because we cannot provide them the field space. I have a real problem telling a 1st grader that he can't play football with his buddies because our district didn't want to provide him the field space. While previous bonds addressed shorter-term needs in a reactive approach, I'm thankful this bond is more proactive, addressing the growth now and to come. Since 2017, our wonderful community has authorized $470 million in bonds, and there have been no complaints about how these funds were spent needlessly or carelessly. If anything, they might have been a little late. AISD has a proven record of fiscally sound decisions with not only the M&O budget, but also our INS funds. So thank you again. And please keep updating the bond FAQs so the community will have the true factual information on these bond questions and issues versus the misinformation that's out there that some would like our community to believe. I am confident our community will come together like we always have for the sake of our children and pass this necessary bond. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our last speaker this evening, Acela Spiegelberg.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
So I wanted to just go over the fact that we do not have true financial projections for the future regarding this bond and the 10-year plan that it's based on. Whatever happens at this election, before any, like whether or not the bond passes, before any money is spent, before any more decisions are made, I don't think any decision should be made until you have those numbers and they can be reviewed and you can make a decision and you can let people know what the effect of this bond and or the 10-year plan will be on the future. It is one of your biggest responsibilities, along with reviewing what the superintendent does, is making sure that you're making decisions that are going to keep the district financially solvent. And the fact that you don't know what this 10-year plan and the subsequent bond from it are going to do to the district in the future is very troubling, because there was plenty of time to get that information together. So no matter what happens after this election, I'm hoping that you will pause, make sure that you get those numbers, make sure that you are following through and making the right decision, and if changes need to be made or if adjustments need to be made, that you will do it at that time. Because the district deserves better. My children, who will be in this district for at least another 11 years, deserve better. And we need to make sure that we are not spending money on infrastructure that is not needed before we can pay our teachers properly, before we can make sure that our staff has everything that they need, before we can make sure that we are providing all of the electives, classes, whatever it is that our children need. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public forum for the evening.
Okay.
You want to ask if I want to make a motion, or you just want to do an introduction?
I'll do the introduction.
Okay.
Okay,
You go ahead.
Sounds good. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is for the board to consider taking action on anything discussed in closed session. So this item involves the recommendation from the district on the hiring of the Hilltop Elementary School principal. So it is our honor this evening to recommend Robin Campbell as the next principal at Hilltop Elementary School. Ms. Campbell comes to us from Carrollton Farmers Branch ISD, serving 23 years there in the district. The last 11, she's been a campus principal with all of her past experience has been in elementary education. So this particular campus has also had kind of a school within a school. She's had a STEM school inside of this campus. So we're very excited to recommend Ms. Campbell for the board to consider tonight as the next principal at Hilltop.
Entertain a motion to approve Ms. Robin Campbell as Hilltop principal.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Wester, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Artho is a second. Any further discussion, questions, comments, concerns? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you. Congratulations.
Welcome to the podium, Ms. Robin Campbell. And you have a slew of teachers out here, so I know that they're excited to meet you. So we want to give you a few moments just to speak to your staff and your parents and our community.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Carpenter, thank you for this opportunity, and to the board members, thank you all for the warm welcome earlier. So truly an honor to be chosen. I can already tell by just a short amount of time at your board meeting that the traditions, the legacies, and the history here at Argyle are so very important to the growth of this district. For Hilltop, I just want you all to know that it's just so important for me to join your team, to carry on your traditions, keep with the legacies, but know that you all trust me to help move the work forward and to help grow and continue to push and help our students reach their full potential. So thank you all for trusting me with this opportunity. It's a great honor for me.
Yep.
My family.
So glad your family's here with you this evening.
Yes.
So you don't mind, we could get a picture real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Congratulations, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you.
Okay, that's awesome. That is awesome. I love it. Okay, we're gonna get a picture of you with some of your staff. Absolutely. Thank you all so much for coming.
Where you running to?
I know. They're scary. It's nice being. That's all right.
Thank you.
Robin, did you get a chance to meet the other birthday yet? Okay, you did. Okay. I just want to make sure y'all. Okay. Good deal. That's good. That's good. Well, okay, excellent.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. I appreciate this. Thank you for, color matching with the white. I know. Leslie's so mad. We got pictures.
Very pastel.
Leslie's so mad.
I know. Thank you. Thank you.
So cool.
Okay.
All right.
Did that clear out?
That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
all right.
So we asked Jeffrey.
No, not right now. Not right now. No. Oh, wait. All right, we're going to move to the consent items. We can pull up donations, please. All right. The Argyle ISD April 2024 donations from AABC, their 27th donation, $5,981.24. BSN Sports, football, compression apparel, AABC number 28, $5,600 for volleyball, platforms and indoor sports, weight room, power systems, boxes. Total April donations, $11,581.24. Awesome. Anyone have any questions on any of the consent items? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent items as presented.
So moved.
Gotcha. Dr. McDade, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Matthew Slayton with a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you.
I can do it in here.
Okay, sounds great. All right, we're gonna move on to the Board of Trustees training hours. I'm gonna go ahead, that's what's next, right?
Yes.
Yep, okay. So maybe we can have, if we need to, have our attorney explain this, but board members are required to keep up continuing education, credit hours, and required by law to report on those every year in April. Now is the time. So here we go. Gonna read them into record. Leanne Artho, 100% complete. Gold star.
Congratulations, Miss Artho.
Dr. Leona McDade, 100% complete.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Richie Deffenbaugh,
Girls rule.
3 hours deficient.
I'll get that to you next month.
Oh, Mr. Deffenbaugh.
Always full of the jokes.
Mr. Joshua Westrom, 3 hours deficient. Mr. Matthew Slayton, complete.
Yes.
Craig Hawksworth, 1 hour deficient.
Just one.
Just one.
Turn that in.
Sam Slayton, 100% complete.
Amazing.
All right, there we go. Mike, I do okay with that? Thank you. Okay. All right. right, now we got a construction report.
That's right. You made it back. Jeff, before you start, I'm gonna let you do that, and then when I do my superintendent report, I'm gonna do a little update about the town council meeting, so I'll probably ask you to add to that if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay,
No
thank
problem.
you.
Okay, we have our April report. Start with our side-by-side comparison with Argyle South on the left and Jane Russman on the right. You can see at Jane Russman, we're already laying sod. If you notice on the right-hand side of that photo in our detention pond, they started laying the sod there. And we've got some trees as well, and we're far from that at Argyle South, same number of months into the project. Here's some side aerial photos of Jane Russman, just from a couple different angles. You can see the sod installation again on the left-hand photo, a little bit better than the last one. Something I'd like to point out, this was the day after it rained, Tuesday last week I think it was, when we had the heavy rain, and there's very little mud on the drive, so that just is a testament to how far along they are on this site, that they can work on a day like this after the rain we had, and the site is still this clean. Not perfectly clean, but better than most would be. Here we've got some interior photos. This is our cafeteria looking towards our kitchen. So some of the activities that are going on in the phase of construction we're at now is MEP trim out. So they're trimming out all the wall plugs, getting ready to start setting toilet fixtures. Ceiling grid's been going in, so they're starting to drop in the HVAC grills. We've got tile. We'll have some photos here in a minute. You can see the tile installation happening. They've actually started final paint coat in some areas, working their way around. Kitchen equipment has already been delivered and is currently in the process of being installed, and millwork arrived last week to start installation. Not all of the millwork, but the first delivery. I think it's divided into about 7 different deliveries. Some major outside activities. We're working to wrap up sidewalks this month. They're about 50-60% complete now. Landscape and irrigation started this month. Our playground shade installation will start, followed by playground equipment. They are going to start grading to finish out the detention pond. The job trailer was sitting where half of it was because it got increased in size during the town review, but we already had a trailer sitting there, so we just moved it out a little bit early so we can go ahead and get that finished. And they are starting the concrete in the courtyard, and that'll be followed by turf, and we have a couple of trees and some other hardscape elements that'll go in there. Here's some photos of our tile installation. On the left is the wood look tile that extends from the front door through the foyer into the library, so that replaces what we have at south and west, which is the wood look phenolic. It's like a plastic type material. It was coming from Austria and Sweden and those kind of places, so we replaced it and saved money while doing it with the wood look tile. And on the right you can see a photo of our green hall. We also have the orange hall complete, the yellow hall. The red loop is completed in the hallways, and they should be working on the blue hall today. Some key dates. We're expecting permanent power in our rooftop units to be started this month. Elevator install will start. Furniture delivery first week of July. And then we've updated our substantial completion. Number 1, we're calling it certificate of occupancy, and they have updated it to July. And we'll make them do July 1st next month. So July 31st. So it'll still look like the same, but I'll pick up 30 days.
We'll take that as a victory.
Yeah. Then
anyone
look
from
ahead.
Pogue here?
No, they're not
yeah,
here.
that's why. It got changed.
They're not here. Millwork installation will continue. Finish painting, MEP trim, more landscape, playgrounds. All of our specialties will start going in along with our plumbing fixtures. And then flooring is scheduled to start next week, and that'll be our carpet and our resilient materials, not ceramic tile materials. So everything's tracking very well.
It's exciting.
Is it getting almost time we can start talking about fire marshal and elevator inspection?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
Give me about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Then we'll talk about it.
Next meeting I can ask.
I already have the dialer. It's in my office. We are ready to go on this one.
It's awesome.
So just to kind of add to this, Jeff was over at Town Council this evening. They started at 5. They had their regular meeting. Our side plan for middle school 2 was on Town Council for approval tonight, or for consideration. It came out of P&Z last week. There was some conditions P&Z wanted to impose on our lights for our playing field. So can you give us an update as to what happened at Town Council this evening, so we
Sure
know
can.
what's going on? Okay.
So we got a unanimous approval of the site plan, but it does not include our sports lights.
Okay.
Which is what I expected was gonna happen this evening. So, they're still looking at that as requiring an SUP for the lighting itself. And so that was actually not part of their presentation tonight.
Okay, but we already have an SUP approval for the site. It's, for the building and
For the
everything
building.
else. So
Correct.
we fall under that K-12, so, okay.
Yes.
So we can move forward, but we'll just have to
Deal with the lights.
negotiate or determine lights.
Currently, yes. We'll have to go back for the lighting for tennis and football.
So the lights were in the site plan that was submitted to P&Z that went up to council,
Yes,
and they just approved it without.
correct.
Lights. Okay.
So we can start building everything else.
Almost. We still have to get permits, but we're working through that process.
But
with
this
them,
was the
and
last
they-
step prior to permits, correct?
This was the last
Okay.
step prior to permits. They are currently working with us to release a grading permit. They've already reviewed that for one round of comments. We'll have a response by the end of the week. And pending that, we should probably, I would think, have a grading permit within, say, 3 weeks to 4 at the most.
Okay.
And what was the concern with the lights?
The concern with the lights is just the light itself. That's the general concern.
From
But as
P&Z,
far as
yeah.
code, the way they interpret it is that requires a specific use permit in that particular zoning.
Are we planning on using lights that are a lot different from the other stadium within their boundaries?
Yes, they are different than those lights, because if I'm not mistaken, those are not LED lights, right? Yes, so this is far
Less.
different technology, much improved over what you
Yes.
see. And I was looking at Liberty Christian on my way by today. I don't think they have LED lights. It's the big giant looking fixtures. So it is not indicative of what it would look like. It's going to be more like what you see over here.
What P&Z was wanting is they want a condition on how many times we can utilize our field with lights outside of school hours and weekends.
Yes.
I'm
sorry, outside of school hours and weekends?
And weekends.
They
So
have.
they're targeting AYSA?
Are more so than our youth programs usage.
Wow.
Mhm.
They
That's a
have
new one
brought
for
up
them.
noise concerns, I think, at every meeting, which is, there's not really an ordinance I can design to, a requirement I can design to. And they ask about noise again tonight,
So
actually.
noise concerns of kids playing in the
Kids
field.
playing.
And whistles.
Yes, they haven't said it as,
Referees.
maybe as such,
But there's only stands
Yes.
on the home side for maybe
that is
500
what
people.
they infer.
And it's not a
You
stadium.
know, those
It's not.
annoying kids playing sports.
And that's gonna be
Yeah.
louder
Just
than 407,
Makes you,
so people,
I don't think so.
That's a new low for them.
it's unbelievable that
Wow, I
you
didn't,
could live
just
in
when I thought
Argyle.
they couldn't go any lower.
You love your
I don't like the sound
extracurriculars.
of kids.
You love your extracurriculars.
I mean,
The biggest challenge this community has is the lack of parks and facilities. In fact, you could argue the only parks and, well, you can't argue, you can say with certainty that the only parks and fields that the community has are the ones that the school is either leased to the town or provides to the organization. I mean, we are supplementing what the town's obligation is, and I can't believe they wouldn't embrace that wholeheartedly.
so you're under the impression that they basically said they don't want kids on weekends or nights playing on those fields because of the noise,
And the lights.
i.e. AYSA.
Yes.
They want them on technology sitting on the couch.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeff.
I mean, it's,
You're
it's
welcome.
actually
Thank
funny.
you.
Like, they're not, I'm waiting for them to say we were just kidding. Wow.
Well, we appreciate the update.
Thank you.
No problem. One other thing to note is Mr. Schmidt clarified that the access easement that we have, which allows us to connect to Sam Davis, is for ingress and egress. He made sure to clarify both ways tonight.
Okay, good deal. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
On weekends also?
After 5.
Okay.
All right, is it my
All right,
turn?
it's your turn.
All right, congratulations to our class of 2024. So we had the top 10 announcement last week by Mr. King, and congratulations to valedictorian Caroline Deffenbaugh.
She did
That
well.
was awesome. Congratulations. I understand, but we're very excited for her. And salutatorian Kate Vest. Congratulations to Caroline and Kate. Very, very, what an honor. So looking forward to celebrating them at graduation in May. One Act Play has advanced to the UIL regional competition, so we continue to advance in One Act Play. Our UIL academic team, district champions. Not only district champions, but they scored more than double the points of the second place high school. So congratulations to Argyle High School on that. We have over 50 students moving on to the regional competition. Majestics had an amazing spring show this weekend. Great success. Continue to beat. Those young ladies are so talented. We have boys and girls golf. That's a tongue twister. Boys and girls golf both won district championships, and they are competing this week at regionals out in Lubbock. In fact, the boys going into tomorrow are sitting second by 2 strokes. So we're excited for them to be able to take control of that tomorrow. We have 8 boys and girls in the UIL track regional qualifiers, and then just if you were, a lot of people were there on Saturday night, but AEF had their annual gala this last weekend. It was such a wonderful turnout. Over 250 people there to support this district, support our teachers. Just inspiring to see so many people to come together to support Time, Talent, and Treasure. So thank you for everyone involved, for Kara Armstrong and Elizabeth Strange and everyone involved on the AEF board for putting on such a wonderful event. Just a bond update, we have completed 7 staff bond presentations. We did 3 community meetings. We had a booster club meeting. We've had PTA, PTO presidents this upcoming week. We will also present to our ministerial alliance this week as well. We also have had our communications department. Rick and his team have been sending out a recording. They'll be sending out a recording of one of the community meetings, so those that weren't able to be there in person will be able to see that. We also have a lot of people engaging. I think someone mentioned it in public comment, engaging with us, asking questions, being informed. We appreciate that and appreciate giving us grace to get those answers back, turned around and back out, because the business of the day-to-day is going on as well. So thank you for asking, engaging. Early voting does start Monday, the 22nd, so a week from today, and we'll end on April 30th, and Election Day is May 4th. So all of those early voting locations and times are listed on our bond website, so please, please, please go there to get that information. Band boosters, 5K is May 11th. There's still time to sign up if anybody wants to run or walk in the 5K. We will have our next budget workshop May 6th. We will have school board, student, and staff recognitions for winter and spring at a special meeting on May 15th. So that will be at 6 o'clock over at the high school. And then prior to that, we will have canvassing for the election at 5 o'clock in this building. So the 15th, we'll have 2 special meetings. We will have graduation on Tuesday, May 21st. Just so everyone knows, that is an early release day for the high school only. The high school will release at 1 o'clock that day. Everyone else is in school regular hours, but they will release early for graduation day. And then our regular May meeting will be Wednesday the 22nd instead of Monday the 20th because of graduation and senior activities that week. And on that Wednesday, we will honor any outgoing trustee we have on that night, and then swear in any new trustees. So busy month of May coming up. So that's all I've got.
Yeah, a couple things. I'm a drill team dad.
Yes,
and
you are.
I am. So got to go see the spring show, but talking with Mrs. Martinez about their growth and success. So she's projected to have a 40% growth next year in the amount of students that are in dance or middle school Majestics or junior varsity or varsity Majestics. So they're projected at 240 students
amazing.
In drill team or dance. So that's awesome to see that grow.
Yep.
And the second thing, I just want to make sure it's put into public record that if Mr. Hawksworth would like a sponsor for the 5K, I will sponsor his entry fee.
Hey, that sounds like a deal right there.
Oh, it is a 1K.
We'll make sure Mr. Bird gets you signed up.
Great.
I would like to say, just kind of echo the community members' thoughts. Who was the one? Ms. Reed, about the administration's work on putting these presentations together. I think everybody from Rick and Liz and Dr. Jordan and Chris, everybody spent time, Dr. Carpenter. I've been through a few of these in my years on the board, and they were very well done. Everything was answered clearly. I just want to thank you guys for the time and energy and effort it takes to do those. I also want to recognize Todd Rogers for being at those and doing his part. I do appreciate that. So I just wanted to echo Ms. Reed's comments and thank you all for the time, energy, and effort you've done with those. So go vote.
Okay. Thank you.
And I ditto everything he just said.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It's amazing.
All right.
One information item. Glad you made it back.
Yeah.
You've got, sir, you're on the agenda.
I am. I had it covered.
Okay, good.
I'm not sure if that person wanted to, but
We're a team. We
That's
all
right.
cover for each other when we need to.
So tonight, for information, this is the cost for our construction materials testing and inspection services for the middle school. So this is something that we are required to do, both by building codes and by law, to do these. So that covers things like testing of the concrete strength when they pour, and other properties that they check while they pour it to ensure it's within compliance. They test the masonry, structural steel inspections, any number of things. The list is almost endless of things they look at. So reached out to Geotex, which is the old DNS Engineering. They changed their name sometime a while ago, a little over a year ago, I think. And they are on our list of approved vendors, so I asked them to quote it. They're the ones that provided all the geotechnical investigation on this site. And so this would be their cost with a 10% contingency on top of it. So their bid was around $360, I believe it was, and then this has 10% on top of that for contingency. Because we don't ever know exactly how many concrete pours the contractor will do, so we've got to cover all of those.
And their bid was reasonable compared to others you've seen in the past.
Yes, yes. Everything they do is unit price bid, and then they extend that with how many trips they think they're going to make to test concrete or inspect steel, and all of those unit costs are in line with what I see from Alpha Engineering and others. It's just a very big number for testing, but it's also a very big project.
What do we pay for elementary? I mean Jane Russman Elementary. What do we pay?
I believe our budget for testing on that one is $187,000. I believe is what it was. We have a lot more concrete on this middle school site, and that's where a lot of the cost is. A lot more piers.
And this is just one of the bids you received when you set the GMP last meeting, right? Or is it not?
No. This is it. This is professional services. So we did the RFQ to award the vendors, and then we look at the pool, and then we select one to quote, and then we can negotiate that and go back and forth. And so this is the one we've brought to you. It was reasonable. They have always hit within their budgets up to this point.
And so this doesn't get paid or utilized until the actual concrete is poured and the build process is going on.
We only pay for their services. So at the end of the day, if let's say it's $275,000 worth, that's all we will pay
But I'm
for
saying
the
this money is
services.
not needed until
And
much of the construction's already been done.
Correct.
Okay.
And they'll do monthly billings, for what they've done in the past month.
Will there be additional services needed on this site when elementary school is built?
Yes.
Or is this, okay.
There will, for the building itself.
Okay.
Most of the site work will have already been done in this package.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Cohen?
Okay.
So you'll bring this back next month?
Correct.
Yes, okay. All right.
All right, we're ready. Let's go to action items.
I included a little bit of this in board notes last week. This is an addition to our staffing plan.
No, this is professional contracts.
Oh.
First.
Oh, okay.
11A.
I'm looking at the blue.
You're
Okay. We talked a little bit about this in closed session. This is a recommendation to approve professional contracts for teachers, librarians, nurses, and counselors.
For next year.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Daniel? Yes. Okay. Wyverly, I'm going to recuse myself from this action item. So, all right. I will entertain a motion to approve action item 11A as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Hawksworth, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Dr. McDade with second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. So 6-0. Thank you.
Okay, next item. This is an addition to the staffing plan that was presented last month. We've been talking about special ed staffing for the past few months. We were waiting until we had received our study from Moat Casey. They did a department review of the special education department. And at this time we have 5 positions that we would like for you to approve tonight in the special education department. 3 of these positions are actually already budgeted and were included in Liz's budget when we were calculating costs for Jane Russman Elementary.
And then based on growth are the other 2 recommendation from the study. Obviously, there's a lot more to the study, but just the growth of our special ed program in general for the diagnostician. And which ones did you already have included?
I have the 3 teaching positions.
Okay, that's what I thought. So the diag and occupational therapists are based on increased student numbers and students being served.
So 3 of those positions were in the 17. I think that you said new positions
No, 3 of those positions were included when we've been talking about our budget deficit and working through that. In the projections that were given, 3 of those first 2 line items for the 3 FTEs were already included in all those projections that we've been given.
So the others, the additional 140.
Is the diag and occupational therapist.
Correct. And we did have some contracted services in there for occupational therapists, so it's really the difference in the 2. So it's not the full 2 salaries, but
right.
So the 140, the budget deficit will be $140,000 greater.
No, because they had some.
No.
They have some in there. You said contracted in there.
it's above the 140. So yes, the 140 is the net, but he's got the difference in the 2 is the net of all that considered.
Okay. So it adds 140 to the deficit.
That's correct.
Which you're still working on.
We are still working on it. We'll have more progress at our May budget workshop.
Okay.
So you all filled the diagnostician position that was open recently?
We did.
Okay. And then this one, you basically, because we're adding a school, adding a campus?
And just the workload in that department.
Okay.
So some of them are not just a 1-to-1 campus, but some is maybe a 3/4 and another 1 1/4, depending on the load of each one of those. But yeah, those are positions that can be contracted. But the preference would be to have that person on staff and not contracted out, because we have usually better relationships that way.
And how many OTs do we have in the district now? Do you know?
Just
one
OT currently.
And then this would be the second?
2, right.
Okay.
And that's where the contracted services is being used right now.
Okay.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve action item 11B as presented.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Western, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Artho, second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, bringing back the cell tower.
Good evening, how are you guys?
Good.
Good.
So I'm here again to propose the cell tower as an action item tonight. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background about what we talked about last time. So we talked about them being responsible for all the maintenance for getting the permits with the city and for keeping insurance for both property damage and bodily injury. I know you guys had a few concerns, and I'm going to touch on some of those. The number one was the location. That was the biggest concern you guys had. So we have decided to move that back to where we originally had it, which is just north of the visitor side bullpen, farthest away from any patrons, fans, or players. The other concern was potential health risks. So I did receive today from AT&T a copy of some of their safety things related to health risk, and basically, I have a copy of it, but in short, it says that although cell towers are fairly new, there's not any information that strongly provides any health-related risks at all due to them at this point. However, if we do find that something does happen, we can always void the contract. So we do have that ability if something does come up. And the last thing is, was this a good fair market value for us as a school district? So we talked with our attorney, and our attorney has dealt with a number of these. They've come across her desk, and she said that she hasn't seen any over this. So usually they're offered less than this. So I did also, when we left last time, I did reach out to AT&T and their spokesperson, and I asked them to go one more time and try to see if they can't get any more money. And he let me know that he was unable to do that. So $2,000 a month is the best that they can offer. So that's pretty much what we're looking at. I do have a few pictures though that I think you'll like to see. So if those are attached, I hope they are.
Yeah, scroll down.
It should be
They're
on
in
the
there.
same file.
It's in
One
there
of
if you
them.
just scroll down.
One of them shows exactly what it will look like as it sits there.
Oh, there they are.
So, so you can see, go a little bit farther up, yeah, right there. You can see what the cell tower would look like if it was sitting there in that picture on the right. So that's kind of an idea of what you would see. It will be a little bit taller than our light poles, but not a great amount to be able to tell that much difference. But I think it's good to visually see what it'll look like going forward.
So it looks like it's hugging the fence line. Is it going to be hugging the fence line?
It's going to be enclosed in a fence that's attached to it, so it will be fairly close, yes.
Can you go, there's I think a site plan on the second page.
So that's.
Can you go back up?
Other direction.
You go.
Yeah, so right there is basically where it will be on that fence, so it would look like another light pole that was standing next to it. It'd be in line with the light poles.
And they'll have access from Harpole, not
Yeah,
going through
not
our parking lot.
Not from our school district
Right.
side, but it'll be from Harpole.
Okay.
And they'll do the road, build the gate, and all that stuff. Make sure that we still have access from that end, because that's how we get in there to work on the turf.
And they have to, I mean, they're gonna have to submit this site plan to the city and get it approved. So even
They will.
if we approve it tonight, they still have to
Yes.
go through what we've just gone through in some respects.
Yes.
Hopefully they have no lights on it.
That's a
Hopefully.
great idea. Can we put lights on?
Hopefully it's not brighter than the ones that we already have there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's okay, because we already got lights. But, so I mean, even approving this tonight doesn't necessarily mean that this is gonna happen.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel great. I don't like the idea of necessarily putting it out there. This area seems somewhat logical, because you have light poles out there and it's not really usable land for any other purpose. It has an ability to generate some revenue for the
Right.
district, which we're looking at every avenue to do that, and I take it that's probably why it's being recommended to us.
They have asked for one more probable location if we didn't say yes to this, but I think this one is probably better than what they've asked. They wanted to do it on the soccer fields there at Hilltop, but that would be closer to elementary school kids and it would be on the playground. I just felt like that wasn't as good a location as this.
Yeah. Any other questions for Mr. Ledford? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve action item 11C as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Slayton, motion to approve. Matthew Slayton, a second?
Second.
Mr. Deffenbaugh, second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Mr. Ledford.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're continuing our revenue streams here. We discussed in our last budget meeting possible revenue streams.
We need a river.
We do need a river.
Stream.
These are small streams, puddles maybe even. But a couple of them that we talked about do require board action that we told you we'd bring up as an action item tonight. One is the optional technology fee that we talked about. Utilizing that fee would potentially bring in $75,000. And then we talked about our UIL participation fee, which has been the same price for the last 13 to 15 years. And increasing that fee from $75 to $100 and the maximum per family from $150 to $200. That would be an additional $30,000. So we're talking about a total of $105,000 possible revenue streams between the two of these.
On that UIL participation fee, is that in line with what other districts charge their students?
I believe that's pretty unique to Argyle ISD. If there are other districts charging that, I'm not aware.
Okay.
Highland Park, I know they do. There's not a lot of that.
Yeah, there's not too many.
And I mean, it's just an unfortunate reality where we're at. I mean, nobody really wants to do these types of things. I don't think we're excited about sitting here, raise the fees.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we had a workshop. I think people had the opportunity to digest it. We're looking for ways to generate revenue to pay teachers and operating costs. And
I think it's also fair to say, like, there are some of these revenue streams that we're having to consider that if our legislators do something to fund public ed, that, you know, there are things that can be changed, reversed, amended. So
it's very simple to say if had a public school finance bill passed and the $4 billion had been released to public schools, the student allotment had been increased, they had properly funded school security, we wouldn't be looking at this.
That is correct.
So
We're just looking for options at this point in time for lack of legislative action.
And you know, the UIL participation fees, I know that goes into the general budget, but it's primarily spent, that money is primarily spent on UIL participation, i.e. we're transporting these kids, you know, there's dinners involved and meals involved, and so I'm guessing that the amount we recoup from this fee may or may not actually pay for the budget.
If you looked at the budget, the UIL activities budget, solely all those expensive and solely only compared it to this revenue stream, no, the expenses would greatly outweigh that.
Right, so this,
but
all this
the revenue
is
goes
helping.
Yes, the
close
revenue
the
just
gap.
goes into the general fund, and then you have the expense line items, but it's only part of the overall general fund picture.
But it's going to the general fund, but it's just slightly closing the gap of what we actually spend on for the kids on UIL.
That's correct.
any other questions for Ms. Stewart? I entertain a motion to approve action item 11D as presented.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Western, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Artho is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Cohen,
I get to give you some money tonight.
one more trip.
I approve.
So moved.
No, y'all calm down, all right? We have our attorney in here, we're gonna do things by the book.
So I'm bringing you tonight recommendation for approval of final change order for our contract for the fire lane at the 6th grade center. So we have completed that project. Fire marshal has signed off and At the end of it all, we have $51,691.25 left of contingency money that would be returned into the 2017 bond funds with an addition of 43 days to their contract time.
So, obviously, we'll take the money. But before we get too excited, the contingency itself is how much?
$1 million.
Contingency was
It's over 100,000,
250,000, I believe. 250. I
250.
believe.
So we added to it $250,000 and only getting back 50.
Yes.
So we spent $200,000 of the contingency fee.
We did.
Above and beyond what they told us the price was going to be.
Above and beyond the bid for changes that we had to incorporate, either due to our water supply or for changes that we requested.
On fire lane.
Wasn't the whole thing though?
The whole thing was a contingency.
Yeah, the whole thing was.
Well, the whole thing was
added after the
added.
fact.
Correct.
It was a $1 million contingency,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. The whole lane.
Well,
itself.
yes, the whole lane. Yes,
Yeah, it's just.
that's
$1
correct.
million road behind a building built in the 60s.
Is it in? It's not in yet.
Oh, it's done.
It's done.
They're using it
Can we
for
go drive it?
I wanna
they're
go
using
drive
it for
it.
Oh,
athletics.
it's a great road.
I want to drive it.
They're using
do a
it for
parade back there?
athletics.
Throw candy.
Better than my drive.
Solar eclipse.
Homecoming
solar
parade
eclipse watch
next
pad.
year.
On the fire
It
lane,
was.
6th grade
Just
center
the
fire
fire
lane.
lane and
Yes.
6th grade center.
They can have their own golf cart parade.
Can we paint it gold?
Yeah.
We probably cannot paint it gold.
Okay.
It has red stripes on it, though.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we need to charge
Have a
toll.
toll
That's
lane.
not a bad idea.
Are there any other reasonable questions for Mr. Cohen? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve action item 11E as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Hawksworth, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Dr. Leon McDade with second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Jeff. All right, the time is 7:18 p.m. We are adjourning to executive session. Will not be coming back to take any action on anything. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate your time. Have a wonderful evening.